There you go. Nice nice little change of little different than my little one bedroom apartment, right? So came out here on Friday with a bunch of friends for the weekend and extended until going back tomorrow. But I thought that would be a nice way to get started. And having said that, I think we're gonna start in a little meditation here this morning. Okay, if you want to kind of like start eyes open if you'd like, kind of taking it in, and then as you're ready, um, close the eyes down. And then this morning we're gonna, or well, I know Zubair and Didem, it's more afternoon for you guys, but definitely an opening of the front body focus. Okay, so some quadriceps, front of the hip, front of the chest, and shoulders. You want to start with eyes open and a really broad but unfocused view. Okay, so when we make our eyes like pinpointed onto one single point of focus, right? That type of concentration, it can be up regulating on our nervous system. When you let your vision get broad and a little bit blurry, it has this effect of starting to calm us down. Focusing on your inhale. When you feel ready, you can always close your eyes. And I want you to check in and see, right, if your nervous system today feels kind of sluggish, slow, if you feel really neutralized, or if you feel a little kind of jumpy, bouncy, scattered. And then depending on what you need, if you need to kind of calm the scattered mind, focus on your exhale. If you need to amp your energy up a little, focus more on your inhale. And then in silence, we'll stay here for about one more minute, setting the tone for your practice. Inhale, exhale. As your eyes open, roll over your shins, come to sit on your heels. With your elbows bent, okay, arms will extend back. So I kind of think of this like chicken wings with the elbows bent. You should really be able to put some power in between your shoulder blades and upper back. Inhale. And then as you exhale, interlace the hands in front of the heart and round, chin to chest, tipping the pelvis backwards. Release, bend elbows. Inhale, open. Maybe the head tips back a little, interlace fingers. Exhale, round. Yep. And when we tuck the pelvis under, you want to squeeze the glutes a little bit. Two more. Inhale. Yep. Take your time with the breath. exhale, remembering if you're trying to like get a little calmer, either this morning or afternoon, lengthen that exhale. And then one more. Stretch the lungs open in and interlace, press shoulders down away from ears as you exhale. Good. Now, keep your hands interlaced through you guys, arms are straight, and then inhale, take your arms all the way up. Good. So use the arms extending up overhead to make it more of an upper back bend. Hands in front of the heart, exhale, round. Great. Chin to chest, sweep through the hips. Inhale, open. Yep, keep pushing the heads of your upper arm bones back. Exhale, round. Good. And one more. Try to make it full body, really through the hips, up the spine, into the shoulders, through the arms, out through the root of the index finger, and then hands in front of the heart and exhale, round there. Good. Take it all the way back up to center. And then release. Shift forward. Tabletop position. And then right away from your tabletop, lift the knees and extend your legs to take your hips downward facing dog. Okay, maybe try to take that soft focus through your eyes. And as you lift your heels, inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Yep. Good. Hip hinge, press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Two more. Inhale, forward, rotate your upper arm bones, biceps forward. Up and back, arms up overhead, back bend, down dog. One more. Inhale, forward. And exhale, hips lift up and back, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, up in between your hands, lunge. Okay, now let's stay light on fingertips. And like I said, I want you to focus a little bit more on the front of the body today. So think front of your left leg, front of the left thigh, front of the left hip, all the way up and out through the left abdominal, long through the spine as you plant your palms, stretch back, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward next to left hand. Yep, run the awareness all the way up the front of the right shin, right knee, front of the right hip, through the right obliques as you extend. And downward facing dog. Right foot steps outside edge of right hand, this time a little bit wider. Yep, back knee down. And then can you drop down onto your left forearm, right, for your lizard lunge? But you're going to walk and extend your right fingertips forward. Okay. Notice probably that the right armpit kind of lifts up. Can we drop that right shoulder, the right rib cage down, kind of stay like really squared here. And then think of your right hip crease deepening back as you extend longer through right fingertip. Inhale. Exhale, hands walk back underneath your shoulders to press back, downward facing dog. And change sides. Left foot steps outside edge of left hand. Back knee down. Right elbow directly underneath your right shoulder. Left fingertips crawl forward. And for just about all of us, we're going to kind of open a little bit. So instead, I want you to try to close that down. You might feel that your like right lung lifts up a little as you roll your left lung down. And then as I pull with my left foot and pull the left hip back, try to extend more forward through left fingertip. Hands underneath the shoulders to press back, downward facing dog. Okay, drop the awareness into the hips, you guys. See how that feels any different. Inhale. Exhale, last one. Right foot step outside edge of right hand. Yep, back left knee down. This time your right arm is going to reach forward, but then circle it up and around to fold the back left leg in. Exactly. And then this time, go ahead and let it open. Okay. So stack right shoulder on top of left shoulder. Trace your awareness all the way up from the front of that left knee, all the way up into the front of the left shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, release, press back, downward facing dog. Left foot step, outside edge of left hand. Back right knee down. Left arm extends forward, reach and lengthen as you turn open, and back right leg folds in. Add the quadricep stretch. Okay, so it can kind of be almost like tempting to sink down into that right shoulder. Press the ground away. Keep lifting up. Turn through the belly, turn through the ribs. Try to stack your shoulders as you release and step back. Downward facing dog. Okay, and then in your down dog, try to get very consistent and steady with your breath. 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Okay, so I've been able to sleep every single night with the doors open and hear the sound of the waves. I haven't needed a podcast or any sleep stories or anything to fall asleep at night. So see if you can start to kind of calm your own nervous system with the really steady sound of your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, step forward, top of your mat. 3, Surya Namaskara A's. We're going to start from here. Hands to shins. Inhale, open. Nice and steady. Exhale, fold. Sweep your arms out around and up as you inhale all the way to rise. And then pull through the air as you exhale, fold in. Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Okay, step your left leg fully back, lunge. Pause, wait for your breath. So through the front of the body, inhale, open. Exhale, step back, top of your push-up, plank pose. Wait for another inhale breath. And then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog on the tops of the feet. Shoulders back, soft bend to your elbows without locking. Roll over toes, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Step forward, top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Round 2. Plug down, reach out, inhale all the way up. Exhale, big hip hinge. Push your hips back as you fold. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Right foot steps back, long, low lunge, pause. Feel the back leg connected through the hip, all the way out through the spine. Plant your palm, top of your push-up plank pose. Inhale, plank. Elbows brush the side ribs, chaturanga. Inhale, pull forward, up dog. Exhale, push the ground away. Try to simultaneously roll over your toes as you press back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Keep sliding the shoulder blades down your back, long through the sides of the neck for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. 1 more full round. Step forward, feet hip width distance apart. Inhale, lengthen. Give yourself a broader, more stable base. Exhale, fold in. Plug down. Inhale, reach up. Yep. Very steady breathing. Exhale, fold in. Drop your head. Long through the back of your neck. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, step back. 1, 2, top of your push-up plank pose. Open through front body. Inhale. Exhale, bend elbows, focus on front body. So from the quads to the front of the hips, through the abdominals into the front of the shoulders, up dog. Hips lift, downward facing dog. 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Okay, inhale. Exhale for 3. If you're ready, you can jump forward, feet together at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Okay, so from your chair, bring your hands in front of your heart. Shoulders back. Shift the weight into your right foot and squeeze your left heel up into your right or left sitting bone. Yep, so use your left hamstring, flamingo pose, balancing on one leg, continually sitting down and back, down and back. Inhale. Exhale, step your left foot all the way back, low lunge. Perfect. Yep, try to step back smoothly. Back left knee down. Open front body as you hook your thumbs. Inhale to arch up. And exhale, step back. Top of your push-up, plank pose. Wait for your breath. Steady and consistent. Inhale. Without rushing, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, feel the tops of the 2 feet, the palms of the 2 hands. Press the floor away. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, up in between your hands, lunge. Yep, we pause on the fingertips, especially when we open front body, right? Some people tend to collapse into their low back. Scoop the tailbone forward. Feel posterior tuck until your right glute is working, and then lift all the way to stand. High lunge. So come up to that place that you can use your front right leg, you guys, enough that helps you to open more into front of left leg, front of left hip, up and out of your low back. Inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, foot step forward. Big toes touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in, Uttanasana. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Yep, and then hands pull down in front of the heart. Stay wide across the collarbones. Sit down and back a little bit lower. Try to commit to sitting down and back low, and right heel squeezes up into right sitting bone as you hold. Yep, chest up, 3, 2, 1. Extend, right leg back, fingertips touch the mat, low lunge. Back knee down. Yep, pause, squeeze into your right glute as you sink low, hook thumbs. Inhale, arch up. And hands to the mat, top of your push-up. Wait for it, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, push floor, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Lunge. Yeah. Wait, connect, feel space in the front of that left hip as well. It's not collapsing, and lift all the way to rise. High lunge. Hold the shape. Fill it with breath. And see if you're hardening your eyes, if you can keep your eyes slightly soft. Inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, back foot steps forward. Inhale, lengthen. Okay, exhale, fold in. We start to add on. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Good. If your mind is wandering, right? Focus your eyes at one spot. See what you need, hands in front of the heart. This time, left elbow outside edge of right knee. So you come into twisted chair. Okay, whenever we twist to the right, can we push the hips a little bit more to the left? And then look down, you guys, and find one spot to focus your eyes. And can you pull that left heel up, right? Like a twisted flamingo pose now. Keep pressing your right knee to the right as you squeeze your right hip in. Inhale. Exhale, left foot steps back, fingertips to the mat, low lunge, nice bear. Yep, good. Back knee down. Hook thumbs. Inhale, arch up, Anjaneyasana. Yep, sink a little bit lower as you open front body. Hands to the mat, top of your push-up, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Use your legs. Stay light through the front body. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva. Exhale, adho. Yep, as we all meet in your downward facing dog, arms up overhead, try to keep opening the front of the chest. Right foot step forward lunge. Plug down, lift to rise, high lunge. And then add your twist. Left elbow outside edge of right knee. Okay, so even within the twist here, can you think about the front body staying more open? Like stretch the abdominals long. Try not to collapse across the collarbones. Keep plugging the shoulders back. Inhale. Exhale, release. Back foot steps forward. Top of your mat, feet together. Last side of your sun V variations. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend knees, drop hips, sit low, chair pose. Yep, and then within the chair, hands in front of the heart. We try to keep the thumbs like connected and then make the twist so that you get your right elbow outside edge of left knee. Notice you guys how much your thumbs move from being connected with your heart. Keep trying to lift the center of the chest up as you rotate. Stacking left shoulder on top of right shoulder. And then you can look down for a better balance. And try to squeeze your right heel up. Twisted flamingo, 3, 2, 1. Release. Step right foot all the way back. Good job. There you go, Julie. Perfect. Back knee down. And then hook thumbs. Inhale, Anjana. Good. Yep. Keep pushing from the back toes. Think about front body opening. Hands to the mat. Top of your push-up. Plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Keep folding your shoulder blades on your upper back. Yeah, try not to dip too much into the heads of the shoulders. Downward facing dog. Maybe even in your mind's eye, you can like picture the waves crashing. See if you can set that rhythm with your breath. Left foot step forward lunge. Plug down, lift to rise, high lunge. How neutral can you make your hip? Yep, squeeze inner thighs. If you need better balance, focus your eyes, and then hands in front of the heart. Right elbow outside edge of left knee. So I think you squeeze my back right kneecap. Get more power there. Keep tucking tailbone under so the front of the pelvis opens, and then twist for 3, 2, 1. Hands to the mat, stretch back, downward facing dog. Hold there, 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Okay. Big toes come together to touch at the back of your mat. Okay, now just a little bit different, you guys. A lot of times when we go into a 3-legged down dog, we just lift the leg up and then bend the knee. What I'd like for you to do today is to bend your right knee first. Squeeze your right heel. Exactly. Yep. Squeeze your right heel up towards your right sitting bone, contracting your right hamstring first, keeping the knees in line with each other, and then roll your right hip open on top of that. Okay. Check your shoulders. Remember, the right shoulder probably wants to lift a little bit. Try to keep that squared off and closed. And then the last little bit here, you guys, is feel your frontal left hip point. It's probably collapsing towards your left femur bone, your upper left leg bone. Tuck your tailbone under a little. Get more space through the front of your left hip. And then against that work, push your right knee and your right femur bone more to the left. It should open the front of your right hip more. Inhale. Exhale, step. Right foot forward up in between your hands, lunge. Okay, spin your back left heel to flat, this time in a wide enough base to prepare for a warrior one. And then lift all the way up, warrior one here at the top of your mat. Okay. So originally, warrior one, you guys, is actually meant as a back bend. Okay, so in order to do that safely, you want to make sure that you're really internally spiraling your back left leg, means left hip forward, drop the tailbone, lift up through your lower abdominal, and then interlace your fingers in Kali Mudra, index finger free. And then as you lift up out of your low back, can you take that upper back bend here? While you continue, nice, as you continue to bend deeper into your front knee, keep your shoulders squared for 3, right? We want to be lifting the back rib up evenly away from the hips for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Fingertips to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Okay, big toes come together to touch back of your mat. Try it again. Left heel squeezes up first, contract the hamstring. So when the hamstring is contracted, when the back of the leg is contracted, the front of the leg, the front of the hip will open more. Stack, left hip on top of right hip. Pause, check your shoulders so that the twist isn't happening in both the hip and the shoulders. Keep your shoulders stable. Awareness goes to the front of the right hip. Lift it a little by tucking the tailbone under, and then try to press your left knee and your left upper leg bone more to the right. You can potentially even feel more like a psoas stretch, which will down-regulate your nervous system. Inhale. Exhale, step. Left foot forward, lunge. Good. Back heel spins to flat. Check the tailbone as you press it under, lift to rise. Warrior one. Keep internally rotating right leg. So another way I think about that is I don't move my right foot, but I think to press my right heel out, turn my right shin bone in, and then drop tailbone, lift pubic bone, Kali Mudra. Use more strength of your arms to lift your rib cage, and then see if you can take the upper back bend. Okay, so you guys know where your kidneys are? They're like they're protected by your bottom back floating ribs. Think that you're lifting your kidneys like in and up to the body as you squeeze there. Inhale. Exhale, release, hands to the mat. Press back, downward facing dog. Okay, good. And then knees to the mat, tabletop. Okay, from your tabletop, hands come to your hips, come to kneeling. Okay, so it's the same thing. I sometimes take my feet a little bit wider to help encourage that internal rotation of my upper thighs. Check through the pubic bone, lifting it up. Imagine where your kidneys are, right? Bottom floating back ribs. Lift those up, roll the shoulder blades back and down, and then can you guys reach for your heels and take Ustrasana? Okay, so engage your hamstrings. And now the way you do that is if your hands are on your heels, you imagine pressing your heels up in towards your hands. Engage the hamstring more to open the front body. Inhale. Exhale. Come back up through center as you plant your palms. Downward facing dog. So that's a little bit of our structure here. And now we're going to add on. Big toes come together to touch. Squeeze right heel up into right sitting bone first. And then focus on opening the right hip. Good, without collapsing through your low back. Stretch long all the way through the tailbone. Can you open the leg a little more? Inhale. Exhale, step right foot forward up in between your hands, lunge. Spin your back heel to flat, lift all the way to rise. Warrior one. From your warrior one, I like to go into that Kali Mudra. My hips are flowing down, but I'm lifting the kidneys in and up, creating that little upper back bend. From here, lift onto the ball of your back left foot, hinge forward, warrior three, taking your arms back behind you. Okay, square off your shoulders, square off your hips. One. Inhale. Exhale, two. Do you still have control through the pelvis? Inhale. Exhale for three. Right fingertip down, left arm up. Ardha Chandrasana. Looks good. And then any of you, if you want to add that Chapasana, reaching back, grabbing for your left ankle, it would be the same concept here, right? Trying to lift that frontal hip point, press the left knee open to open more front body. Inhale. Exhale, release, step back. Downward facing dog. Okay. So depending on where you guys are, if you need a little more heat, right, if you want to keep, because it makes your spine more flexible, if you do want to inhale forward into plank and take your vinyasa, that's fine. I realized I put my mat in a bad spot. I'm starting to bake in the sun. Plenty warm. Inhale. Exhale. Big toes come together to touch. Left heel. Squeeze it in towards left sitting bone. Open that top hip. Okay, you can feel if the right side body feels a little bit collapsed. Inhale. Exhale, left foot step forward, lunge. Spin the back heel to flat, lift to rise, warrior one. Okay. Go at a pace that you can. Find your foundation, work your awareness up your legs, through your hips. Kali Mudra, right? So it's not an effective back bend if you're just going into your low back. You want to use your legs, lift the spine up out of the hips, then take your upper back bend, inhale. Exhale, lift the back heel, hinge forward, warrior three. And then from your warrior three, open that top hip, open the top arm, Ardha Chandrasana. And if you have the space, and sometimes you get the space by coming up onto a block, you can add the Chapasana, more of the quadricep, hip, hard opening back bend, one. Inhale. Exhale for two. Inhale. Exhale for three. Release. Step back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, everybody vinyasa. Inhale forward into plank. Release the rib cage, lower slow. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Knees to the mat. Come up to find kneeling, Ustrasana. Okay, maybe feet a little bit wider, right? If that helps you to force the internal rotation on your upper thighs, root the tailbone down. I'm going to keep my toes tucked under so that when I reach back, I can imagine pressing my heels up. More hamstring. Good. More glutes. If it's available, you can tip the head back. 3. Cross the front of the shoulders. 2. And 1. Come back up to center. This time, point toes. Sit back on your heels. Child's pose. In your mind's eye, picture the water, picture the waves steadily flowing over you. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Okay. And essentially, we're going to kind of put all this together. So big toes touch back of your mat. Right heel. So that's your third time. Okay. See if we can keep the right back of the right leg contracted as you really stretch long through the back of your left leg. And then stack open that top right hip. I'm always thinking that I'm trying to press my right knee and my right foot more to the left. Inhale. Exhale, right foot steps forward, lunge. Okay. Back heel spins the flat, lift to rise, warrior 1. Kali Mudra, pinky edge side of your hand presses all the way together. Keep trying to square your ribs. So what that means, you guys, is right rib back, left rib slightly forward. Pick it up, inhale. Exhale, back heel lift as you hinge forward, warrior 3. Okay, you're not going to hold things for as long. Right fingertips down, left arm extends up, Ardha Chandrasana. Into the Chapasana if you want to try to fold that back leg in. Okay, 3. Wherever you are, you're still creating the relationship between the tailbone and the femur bone. 2, 1. Okay, release the foot and everybody step back, low lunge. From your low lunge, right shoulder, inside edge of right knee. So that's your lizard lunge. Come down onto your left knee. Okay, start to take your hands out wider. I think of them like airplane arms. Right arm is stretching out to the right. Good, sink the hips low. Begin to fold back left leg in. With that right hand, can you reach back? Yes, super good. There you go. Got it, Vito? Yeah. Reach back, try to grab. You could use a strap. You could come up a little bit higher. Okay. And then if you have this, you could come down onto your forearm. Now, if you don't have that, just release the bind and do like what we did at the beginning of class. Take the right shoulder out from underneath and just open. Good. And if you're in the bind, come down onto your forearm and try to lower all the way down onto your chest. Right? And so, Dita, you can just release the bind and you can just fold that back leg in and still work the quadricep. 3, maybe you can get the chest to the floor. 2. And 1, release. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Last two vinyasas. Inhale forward into plank. Bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet together, back of the mat. Feel that you're hugging the midline using your inner upper thighs. Squeeze left heel into left sitting bone. And then open. Keep moving left knee, left foot to the right. Left foot steps forward. Lunge. Yep, nice control. Back heel grounds to flat, lift to rise. Warrior one. Okay, so if you're warm enough now, keep thinking that you're lifting that right hip up off the top of your right thigh. Use that to keep squaring the hips, squaring the ribs, interlace fingers, find your back bend. And then as you lift your back heel, warrior three. From your warrior three, left fingertips down, roll the right hip open, Ardha Chandrasana. And then adding on your Chapasana, front body opening, one. Inhale, doesn't matter if you hold it, it's still relationship of tailbone to femur bone, two. Inhale. Exhale for three. Release, step back, low lunge. Okay, from low lunge, left shoulder, inside edge of left knee, back right knee down. Okay, and then I hook that arm underneath. I try to get low and fold the back right leg in to take the bind. And then you could come down onto that right elbow or no bind and just open and focus on front body. Yep. Center of right thigh, center of the right hip, maybe the chest to the floor if you're in the bind, all the way lower down. Inhale. Exhale, release, press back, downward facing dog. Great job, you guys. Final vinyasa. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva. Exhale, adho. And then knees to the mat. One more ustrasana. Push the hips forward. Try to keep the front of the hips in line with the front of the knees. Try to simultaneously reach back for the heels. And then I put my hands a little bit on the insides of my heels. And I press the heels in as I press my hands out. Heels in, hands pressed out, creating more and more resistance to spread across your collarbones. Inhale. Exhale, good. Hip hinge forward and come to sit on your heels. Okay, so it'll be yogi's choice from here. If you have a headstand practice, I'm going to have you come up into headstand. If you don't have a headstand practice, you're going to take your really wide-legged, and I consider it like a wide-legged down dog. So it's still an inversion. You might be able to take your feet wide enough that you can rest your forehead on the floor. Right? Or if you have a headstand practice, you can come up into tripod headstand. Nice adjustment, Julie. Yep. Good. And try to find this. I've actually been giving a lot of prenatal classes lately, and like the upward flow, pranic flow, but then aponic energy, downward flow. We need the balance of both. You're up for three more breaths, trying to hold some form of an inversion. Two and one. Okay. Wherever you are, step it back or turn back onto your mat into your regular downward facing dog. From your regular down dog, walk your feet forward, middle of your mat, and then from the middle of your mat, you're going to drop your knees down, point your toes, and come to sit back on your heels. Okay, so we should be more like knees at the top of your mat, big toes come together to touch, and then you're gonna have to decide, you guys, do you need pillows? Do you need blocks across your upper back and head? But we're gonna take a passive front body opener. Okay, so I come down onto my elbows and I stop. Okay, and then I make sure that I press down enough through the tops of my feet, the center of my ankles, and my shin bones that I lengthen my low back, meaning I can feel my glutes starting to work, and then lower all the way down. You can put a block across your upper back. You can put a block underneath your head. Depending on where your feet are, sometimes I like to put my hands on my heels and push my heels forward. Like you're driving from your heel to your shin bone towards your knees. And then against that work, get even more tuck of the tailbone. See if you can wiggle in and get just a tiny bit more comfortable. And then if you want to extend your arms up overhead and take opposite arm, opposite elbow. So you get the final full front body opening from here. Closing your eyes. So in your mind's eye, do your best to kind of transport yourself to a place where you can imagine being on a beach. The steady rhythmic lapping of the waves, of the tide. And try to match your breath with that. Okay, you're halfway done. Depending, like if you want to deepen it, you might bring your upper leg bones a little more towards parallel. You might just squeeze the butt muscles a little bit or feel like you're walking your shoulder blades back. Inhale, exhale. If you're down and you can unfold from there, feel free. But otherwise, if you want to come up and unfold your legs and stretch back into one more neutralizing downward facing dog. Yep. So use the steadiness of the legs, the rotation of your hips to make sure your front body, front of the armpits especially, and really open here. Same things. We're trying to kind of like lengthen the kidneys up away from the low back, right? So our adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys. That's where we produce all the stress hormones. Right? I'm kind of like breathing into that area. Inhale, exhale. Good, you guys. Once you feel that your low back is neutralized, after that, you're just going to come to sit all the way down and lie all the way down. So with your feet together at the middle of your mat and your knees bent, you're just going to cross your left leg over your right. And with your upper legs crossed, then draw your knees into your chest. Okay, that should be enough, right? You can always take it into like a deeper form of a Supta Gomukhasana, but that should actually be enough if you kind of hold that back bottom knee and pull in to feel like you're widening across your sacrum. It should make a little more space in the back of your hips, especially after back bending. Inhale, exhale, and then drop both knees over to the right. So when the left leg is on top, drop your knees to the right and come into your twist. And then all I really ask is all that idea of like lifting up out of your low back. So really move those right ribs away from your right hip as you twist in. Unwind the legs as you come back to center. And then right thigh over left, just pause. Hug the knees into the chest. You might feel like your hip flexors tighten or your abdominals tighten. Remind them to relax. Feel the sacrum kind of like pan or like fan or like pull out. And then drop your knees over to the left and find your twist. Unwind the legs to come back through center. And Savasana. Spend a couple breaths just working on lengthening the exhale out a little more. Inhale. Exhale. And take your time. Come up to seated. And we're going to do one more minute in a seated meditation. Maybe with as little movement as possible. So, front of the chest, front of the shoulders open. And holding your hands in front of your heart center in Anjali Mudra. So I've actually taken out of the last couple of days, gratefully, here is how much external distraction I always have going, right? I've been taking my beach walks with no music, right? Going to bed, not listening to any podcast or sleep sounds or whatever. And actually then just seeing how we're kind of left with our thoughts, but then that's also how we start to kind of clean them out and calm them down when we're not constantly adding in more external distractions. Just enjoy one more little breath in peace and quiet. Inhale. Exhale. And then taking your thumbs to your third eye, bowing forward to seal your practice. Jai Siddhartha.